Hi everyone, and welcome to another video in this Unit 1 Biology Module 1 series. In this video, we'll be doing the first class on cells. Cells is a kind of big topic, so I would prefer to separate it into a couple of classes, right? So in this one, we'll be looking at the plant and animal cells and the organelles that are situated within them. Alright, so without further ado, let's get the ball rolling with the nucleus. And you can easily see the nucleus in this image here. It's the big pink blob in the middle, right? So this is obviously the largest cell organelle. Okay, and if you zoom up, you will see that it's actually surrounded by two membranes, one on the inner portion and one on the outer portion. And this is known as the nuclear envelope. And what this does, it essentially has nuclear pores here. You see little openings, like little gaps in them, and this allows exchange between the nucleus and the cytoplasm of the cell. Alright, and things that pass through this are like RNA, hormones, nutrients, that stuff. Alright, now inside of the nucleus is the nucleoplasm, just like the cytoplasm, but it's nucleoplasm, right? So the nucleoplasm contains chromosomes, right? But they are loosely coiled, and if you remember, well, you may not have done it yet, but in mitosis and meiosis, the first product of DNA is called chromatin, right? And these contain chromosomes called chromatin. All right. Now, also inside of nucleus is the nucleolus, which is this circular structure here. Right, that's the nucleolus. So this contains a lot of protein, it contains DNA, and this is like the brain of the nucleus. You know, the nucleus is the brain of the cell, but the nucleolus is the brain of the brain, right? So it contains DNA, it influences the synthesis of RNA, and ribosomes are also produced here, right? And we'll go into ribosomes very soon. All right. And just outside nucleus, we have these items here, and these are called centrioles. And we'll learn about this more when we do meiosis and meiosis. Okay, but that's the nucleus in a nutshell there. Now let's zoom back out. All right, we want to talk about the endoplasmic reticulum. All right, there are actually two versions of the endoplasmic reticulum: the rough and the smooth. Right, so remember, the nucleus had an inner and outer membrane. Well, the outer membrane actually continues into the endoplasmic reticulum. You could see that, right? This is the outer portion here, and it's going, and then it's continuing, right? And that is the endoplasmic reticulum there. Okay, so on the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum, you can see these black dots, right? Those black dots are called ribosomes. Right, and it's only situated on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. That's what makes them rough, right? Rough, R for ribosomes. Easy to remember there, right? Ribosomes are essentially sites of protein synthesis. Okay, and they are also found situated around the cytoplasm as well. You can see the little black dots here as well, right? So not only on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. All right, but the proteins are synthesized by the ribosomes. The ribosomes make them, and then they are sent into the endoplasmic reticulum. So the endoplasmic reticulum is like a tube and actually carries them and transports them to other parts of the cell. Okay. Now, the endoplasmic reticulum, which doesn't have any ribosomes on it, is called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It also has a function. The smooth ER, we could call it ER for short, that allows the synthesis of lipids and steroids. Okay. And these products can also go into the Golgi apparatus, right? This is like a little storage organelle here, right? And they contain enzymes, proteins, steroids, those kind of things, right? Okay, so now let's move on to lysosomes. Now lysosomes are over here, right? These are two yellow dots, well, not dots, but circles in the cell, right? So they contain a lot of enzymes, and these enzymes digest materials that are taken into the cell, right? So they can actually break down old organelles. They can break down entire cells as well. Any germs that may enter the cell, they can act as a form of defense, and they could actually destroy the entire cell if needed. Okay, so the enzymes inside the lysosome are actually inactive in a normal cell, right? So the pH of the cell needs to be at a specific value in order for these enzymes to not work, right? However, if protons, for example, hydrogen atoms or ions, right, H plus, if they enter the lysosome, they would change the pH and allow the lysosomal enzymes to act, and this could destroy the entire cell if needed, right? Okay, let's move on to this little hot dog looking thing here, mitochondrion. Right, so that is one mitochondrion, but the plural is mitochondria. Alright, and we know what the mitochondria is, right? We all know the definition. I'm not even going to say it, right? So mitochondria are rod-shaped, right? I call it sausage, they are surrounded by two membranes. It might be a little difficult to see in this diagram, but you can see an inner membrane and an outer membrane as well, just like a nucleus, right? Okay, and in the inner portion, it's highly folded, right? You could see lots of different folds here, and these folds are called crista or cristae. Cristae is the plural, right? That's C-R-I-S-T-A-E. Cristae. All right, so these contain many enzymes as well, proteins, and all these are important for the synthesis of ATP. Right? Remember, we want energy in the mitochondria, and ATP is the general currency of energy in all living things. Okay. Right. So in your unit 2, you will learn about the Krebs cycle. So we don't need to go into that, right? So Krebs cycle occurs in the mitochondrion. All right. Now, the last thing in the animal cell that we need to learn about, right, we want to go into a little bit more detail into the ribosomes. Right, we said yes, the ribosomes make proteins and stuff, right? But there are actually two types of ribosomes, 70S and 80S. Okay, so 70S ribosomes, right, they are more found in organelles and bacteria, right? So you would find these in bacteria. You would find them in mitochondria. And when we do chloroplast just now, you would see that they are found in chloroplasts as well. The 80S ribosomes, they are larger, right? And they are actually found in those are the regular ones in the cytoplasm of the cell that you see there, right? The cytoplasm and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so these are not found in bacterial cells and mitochondria and chloroplasts, right? So that's just one little extra there in ribosomes. And when we do another topic in cells, we will learn about how these came about. Okay, it's a very interesting topic. But the last organelle we want to learn about, this is also the diagram of the ribosome, right? Let's draw it here for you. The ATS is a ATS ribosome. Alright, it's a small subunit on top, a larger subunit below, and you could see that here it is connected to the little tube, which is the endoplasmic reticulum, right? The rough one. Right, and it synthesizes protein at the bottom of the little snowman looking thing. Protein is synthesized there and can be transported along the endoplasmic reticulum. But this is the diagram of a plant cell, okay? And it contains largely the same organelles as an animal cell, with the exception of these large green things here. Alright, and obviously the vacuole in the middle. We don't really need to go too much in depth into the vacuole. We know what it does. It contains water. Right? Now, the large green things there, as you may have guessed, that's a chloroplast. Right? So chloroplasts are only found in plant cells because they participate in photosynthesis, right? And actually, when you go into Unit 2, you will learn more about photosynthesis, right? But again, just like mitochondria, they are surrounded by an inner and outer membrane or envelope, right? Inside the chloroplast is a system of sacs, right? You can see these sacs here. And they are actually called thylakoids, right? Thy, thylakoids. Okay, and a stack of these thylakoids is called a granum, but we don't need to go into so in depth, right? But these inside these thylakoids there are something called photosystems, and they help control photosynthesis, right? But we don't need to go into depth into there. All right, but that's just something to note. Okay. As usual, I have all the notes after here, so you can feel free to screenshot them. This is a table outlining the differences between animal and plant cells. That's your note for the nucleus, your endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, your lysosomes as well. Here's your mitochondria, your ribosomes, and finally you have your chloroplast. So you have all the notes, okay? So this brings us to the end of this first class in cells, and I will see you guys again next week for the second one.